Hey guys, welcome to Z's Bees. We're going to do a hive inspection today. I'm going to do another video talking about swarms. We're in the midst right now of potentially catching a swarm. We've had some bees that were looking at the traps quite extensively. I think there's still swarms somewhere in this area. We just couldn't find them down here. So if you want to kind of pan over here, all the wildflowers are really starting to come into bloom. This hive has just been crazy, so I want to make sure that I stay ahead of how much honey production there is. So Molly, if you want to come over here, we're going to dive right into it. Run a look when I lift this off, and we can see they're absolutely packed. So that's really good. Let's see what they're doing for honey production. I hear a nice soft hum. All right, step back just a little bit, Molly. You can see everything is stuck down. Let's just take a look real quick. I see just from the top, it's looking pretty good. So you can see they're starting to really, this was an undrawn frame. I checkerboarded them in there, and I don't know if you can capture on the light all that nice glistening in there. They're starting to fill this up. So let's take a look at one of the frames that was previously drawn out. You have one bothering you, Molly?
I'm good.
All right. Now by the weight of it, we need to add another box because this one, which was already drawn out, is full of nectar. These bees are working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to button this hive up for now, and then we're going to see what these other hives are doing, because I have a feeling that the one that swarmed isn't really touching their box. So we're gonna take one of their boxes off and move it over here. Or we'll go up and get a new one. So Molly, if you wanna come on over here. All right. So they are packed in this one. I might have to go get some honey supers here. See that graceful move I just did there? And this was a hive that I thought might have been the swarm. So I think the bees that we have looking at our traps up on top are from a different hive from somewhere. And again, I'm not really paying too much attention to these bees here because I have a queen excluder on. So let's just take a look now at these ones. I can see some nice fresh white wax. The white is really an indication that it's fresh, new wax. And I can see that they're already starting to cap some honey over here. So you can see they've drawn this out. All that is honey in this capping right here. They're starting to dry it out, and once it reaches the perfect level of dryness, that's when they put the cappings over it, which is about 80% sugar or honey, and then about 16 to 20% water. Let's see what they're doing on the outside frames here. So at a minimum, I'm going to need 2 boxes, one to put on this hive, one to put on the one next to it. Each one of these boxes, when they're full, you see here, they're not really drawing this one out at all. Take a look at this one, which is a drawn frame, and they're storing in here. So just for sake of ease, I'm going to slide this one over. I'm going to see an undrawn one in here, and again, you see how nice and busy they are. They're storing, so they're working in here. They're just at a whole different, just not at the speed of the other hives. So now I'm going to take and pop this off. We'll set this right down here. You see how packed these bees in here are here? That's concerning for me because that means that they're not all moving out of the, or moving through the queen excluder. So what I might do, I might see what it looks like here, and if they're getting honey bound, which it looks like I have a lot of honey, I might take this excluder off. And they have this thing glued down. When I say glued, this is the propolis. This is tree resins and saps that they create this glue. And it looks like this whole top section here, let's start on the outside. See how long they allow us to play with them here before they get too upset. Okay, so that's all nectar and honey. You see some real dark honey in there. You can see the population in here. I would say they did not swarm. What I want to see though is some brood to make sure that they are queened right. So here, again, that's all. This was always kind of the flighty hive. They don't get aggressive, they just get real flighty. So I see some drone cells in there. I see some drones. When I say drone cells, that's these big puffy ones here. Now a queen cup would extend way down. So working a little bit fast here. But I can say I am not seeing any brood. I'm seeing a ton of honey. So this hive, I'm going to take the excluder off. And now the bees are starting to really get upset with me here, so I'm going to... Okay, so there's some brood in there. Looks like maybe the remnants of some queen cells that they're tearing down. Let's just go one more frame over. You see here a bee stung my glove. And see there it's ripping itself out. So that bee unfortunately will die. Alright. So I saw some brood up there. I've just been seeing an awful lot of honey. The population is good. All right, this one's much lighter. Okay, this is really good. Let's keep an eye out for the queen. This is exactly what I wanted to see. They have room there. You can see some, I think those, they might be, so here. This hive might have swarmed a while ago. You see here? This is a queen cell, and these caps are off. So they're pretty hard, so they're tearing them down. This hive might be trying, either they did swarm or I don't know what exactly happened with this. Because well, I guess they might have swarmed a while ago. I do see some capped brood, but there's potential about a week ago or a week and a half ago, they may have swarmed. And so I would be real surprised to see any eggs or larvae. See here, I'm really messing with them. Let's take a look. So again, this is a beautiful frame of brood. This hive is getting ready to really explode. Look at that. You see, well, it's a capped queen cell. So they are potentially getting ready to swarm. And it is sealed off. So, based on the population, again, I don't know if this was the hive that swarmed, but there's potential that they may swarm. So we're going to button these guys up here. And again, I'm going to push and slide and not just plop this down. You see how fast there's a little bit of honey here? Bees right over here cleaning that up. So again, I'm leaving that queen excluder off because there's so much honey in there. I don't think that the queen is necessarily going to make its way up. I want to give them a little bit of room. I'm going to put another box on this one. I'm going to button them up. So this is a hive. I'm going to show you the difference of a hive that did swarm. So again, I have the Ross rounds on this one. This is to try and get the honey, the comb honey. So they're not even up in there. And I'll show you here. This is a hive that there's a couple bees, but I'm going to move this whole box over to the, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this box here because their population is strong. There is some nectar in here, but let me just show you. When I initially talked about swarms, I think some people thought, and I didn't do a good job explaining, that the entire hive was then gone. When they split, that's a reproduction. So again, come close here, Molly. When a hive swarms, they leave half the hive behind. And again, this is what I call my lazy hive, and I only say that because as compared to the other one, these are the most calm bees. Not a single bee took off flying, and they're the real yellow bees. So let me set this down here. But this hive here is just exceptionally calm. So this is the swarm, and I'll do a video on it. If you guys follow me on Facebook, this is the swarm that I saw up in the tree about 35 feet away from me. Here that I didn't end up getting out. What did I do with that hanger?
Over here.
So they're usually when a hive is queenless, you hear kind of a roar. Let's see how calm these guys are. So you see here, they're not even really drawing this one out yet. They never really did. And it was my theory that because they weren't drawing out the wax, they basically honey bound themselves. You see there, they're already capping over the little bit of honey that they have. So the nectar is coming in, and I'll show you the difference of a drawn out frame. They're bringing in honey, in nectar, capping it over right away. There's a little bit of brood on here, but you see that nice, beautiful capped over. All bees have this temperament. So you see, again, nectar, they're starting to backfill this whole brood chamber. That's because they don't have a queen. That's the remnants over here of the eggs that the queen laid before she left. So let's see what she did. Yep, here's some of the queen cells. We should see that they're open. Again, they're hatching out. Let's see if we can, oh here. We can see a bee that's hatching out as we speak, right there. Can you zoom in on that, Molly? So this brood, again, is hatching out right at the tip of that bee's kind of in the way. You see coming out. You see it digging in there. Here comes the antennae, the little face. You see the other bees over there helping. You're gonna pull the wax away. There's another one. This one was just hatched. This face is in there. As soon as they hatch, they clean out the cell. And if they had a queen, the queen would smell that pheromone and she would come right back and start to lay in there. There's another queen cell that a queen probably emerged. Hopefully she's getting ready for a mating flight. Maybe she's already out on a mating flight. There you see some drone brood in there. Let's pull a couple more. I'm just hoping that they don't completely go and backfill everything with nectar, but bees want to work, and when there's no brood to take care of, start working with honey. Oh, here we go. This is interesting. This is why when you're checking for cells, they're not always on the bottom. You see these beautiful queen cells here, they're both working them. If if I wanted to do a split, I could take this frame that has a queen cell here and a queen cell here, and they're capped over, and I could put that into like a nucleus box, and I would then wait for that queen to hatch out, and I could do that with a couple different frames. So there's a chance that either a queen is in there and she's going to go around and sting those cells, or the bees were not satisfied with the queen cells that they had and they tore them down. So those two in there looked like really, really good cells. So they may still be waiting for that queen to hatch. In my experience, when a hive swarms, it takes about 21 to 28 days before you really start to see eggs and larvae, between her reaching sexual maturity, going on mating flights, coming back, getting a laying pattern, and that's when you finally really start to see the different, or the expansion of the queen really making it her own nest, and they bring in honey. That's why swarming isn't great, because it puts a big damper on the production. So what I'm going to do for ease here is I'm going to, actually with this hive over here, we're going to give them the Ross rounds here, because they're bringing in honey, and I see that they're already starting to draw out some stuff. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave this hive buttoned up, and maybe I'll end up bringing down a different box for this hive over here, which their likelihood of producing any honey this year is really, really low. They might do it later in the fall. So we'll put that on like that, which we don't even, I guess I don't even need. Let me take this off. I don't need to exclude them from anything. So we'll put this over here. So that's going there. This hive, you can see they're ready to move. We're going to give them the Ross rounds. So this, let's see if we can button them down. This will be for those of you out there that like comb honey. This on there, put this on here, squish these. I left the queen excluder off on that one. And then our big hive, we're gonna keep stacking it up. When we do get big storms or winds, I come down here and I put a ratchet strap over my hives, because as they get this high, they're pretty stable, but it's quite a bit of force. And they're gonna like this, because this is a fully drawn out box. I gave each hive a fully drawn box of honeycomb, so they don't have to do any work on this one. All they have to do is bring in nectar. And I can see a couple already coming up through. So we'll put that like this. Put this on. We have everything buttoned up. This is the one I'm hoping that, I mean, there's a chance that they could swarm, but again, they've just been producing so much honey that I'm just leaving them the way they are. So they're producing a lot over here. I saw some queen cells in there. It was just really interesting kind of what I saw. So they did not swarm yet, based on the population. The other one did swarm. You kind of see how slow and lethargic they are. I don't know what we're gonna end up making of that one this year. So we'll see how they end up going. And then we'll keep you posted on the swarm traps. I think honestly later today, there's a high likelihood we could catch a swarm. So that other hive will come down here, and then maybe we'll use some of the resources on that third hive to either boost them or boost the swarm, and try to get some honey out of those. So thanks again for watching. Check out the Facebook page, check out the YouTube channel, subscribe to it. Thank you so much.